So now guys, I've taught you about how to do outreach, how to find your clients and how to get in front of them. You're finally in front of the people you need to be speaking to, but how exactly do you go out, close a client? But more specifically, how would you know exactly what to say? Without further ado, I'm gonna jump straight into my laptop and I'm gonna give all of you guys my free script on how to do your first discovery call and how to then get that discovery call onto a sales call where you can actually pitch your service. So yeah, people, without further ado, let's go.
Yes, people, so as you can see, I'm right here on the discovery call script. Now, sorry to state the obvious, but this script is going to be slightly different for the type of niche you work with. The main differences are going to be, does your potential client, do they work with clients or have they got like customers? For instance, is it something they purchase online or is it someone they work with face to face? So the questions may differ, but this script will really help you out in terms of really understanding the type of client you're going to be working with. And the whole goal of this call is you're just trying to get as much information as physically possible, so then you can actually go away and work out a step-by-step blueprint for that first client of yours. Now again, when you've done this a while and you've got loads of clients within the same niche, you pretty much know like the offers and the struggles. But when you're first starting out, having a script like this is so important, right? Because it actually gives you time to prepare. And the more personal you can make your offer, especially if this is going to be your first client, the better chances you are going to have of signing that client. But most importantly, delivering like a better service for them than the last people, right? So without further ado, I'm just going to run straight into it, right? So first of all, I put here in capital letters, please no small talk for longer than 2 minutes. This was a big mistake that I made when first started. Me, I'm quite chitty chatty. I'm good with talking to people, right? So I would talk quite a lot and then I would kind of forget like, oh shit, what am I doing? And because I've made them my friends rather than making them more of like a client, I'm kind of just giving them advice of what they can do and they can take that away and go do it themselves, right? The whole point of this call really is to make them aware of all the issues they have, and then we're actually selling the sales call, right? We're getting all the issues out into the open and then we're actually selling the sales call, right? Because this is not a sales call, we actually still need to get them onto a sales call, right? By the way, guys, as well, I always have like my pen and paper with me, right? And I'll have the 3-4 questions written down on the piece of paper, but I will type here on my notes. Like I'll have my notes open on the screen here. So I'm always directly looking at the camera. So it looks like I'm directly looking at them. But I like to have the questions written on the notepad and paper, because when I say, so I've just got a few questions to ask, or I've just got 3 or 4 questions to ask, I'll literally hold up my notepad and paper and they can see there's only 3-4 questions written down, because a lot of agencies will say, yeah, I just want 15 minutes of your time, I just want to ask you a few questions, and then there's some bombarding them with questions and going off topic, right? So I just want to show them, look, I generally have got 3 or 4 questions and I just want to get these answered before we start talking about obviously the questions they want to ask, right? So the way I would say it was, right, I'll say, so I've just got 3-4 questions to ask to find out whether it would be a good fit to work together. Am I cool just to jump straight into it? Yeah, sure, you're fine to jump into it. All right, cool, thank you. So yeah, first question is, so how do you get clients, right? So when you ask them how do you get clients, like 90% of the time, they're going to say word of mouth, right? Especially if you work with any business owners above the age of like 30, 40 years old, they're always going to say word of mouth. So you're going to be like, oh, okay, sure. So have you ever done anything offline? And then whatever they've done offline, again, whether you're working with like a landscape gardener, for instance, they're obviously going to be doing leaflets through the doors when they're at like the jobs, right? They're going to get their labourer to quickly run around with all the leaflets and hand in the thing. Whereas like an e-commerce company, they're definitely not going to hand out leaflets, so they probably haven't done anything offline, right? But it's always good to ask just so you can get as much information as possible. So you want to ask anything offline, of course, you want to type down all your answers and stuff, right? So the best thing about having this document or even your notes, where you can just type all the answers out, and of course the call is always going to be recorded so you can go and watch it back anyway. But yeah, you're going to ask if you've done anything offline, they're going to answer, you're going to say okay, sure, and then you're going to be like, alright, so have you done anything online? And the biggest trick I can give you guys here is I always pause and I want them to talk, right? And another thing that I'll probably talk about in another video is you're not here to make them feel like it's okay. If you start saying, oh, it's okay, yeah, don't worry, oh, you know, oh, I see it all the time, yeah, loads of people that mistake, it's okay. I hear so many people saying that, like, yeah, it's alright, it's okay, like, everyone I speak to makes that mistake, so it's okay. Because you're going to make them feel like, yeah, do you know what, actually it is okay. Like, yeah, I'm making a mistake upon beginner. If I just keep doing it myself, I'll be absolutely fine, right? That's the type of aura you're giving them. So whatever the answer is, guys, make sure the only words you say is, okay, sure. That's all I want you to say throughout the whole thing when they're answering, right? So you're going to say, all right, have you done anything online? And another little trick here, guys, say if you're selling Facebook ads, for instance, do not say Facebook first, right? We want to keep them guessing. We don't want them to assume. We're always trying to keep them curious about what the service is, right? So if you're doing Facebook ads, for instance, you want to say, so have you done anything like online advertisement? Let them answer. All right. And have you ever tried Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook? Let them answer. And then you're going to say, all right, cool. So is that just paid ads, like paid advertisement? Let them answer. And then you say, does that include organic? Are you just doing normal posting and stuff like that? Let them answer. Okay, cool. And then you're going to say, all right, cool. So what results did you get? And remember, guys, this is going to be, if they're doing both organic and paid, when you say what results did you get, you want to make sure that you're asking, like at the end, what results did you get for organic? Okay, cool. So what results did you get for paid ads, right? Hopefully that makes sense. So what results did you get? Let them answer. Oh, okay. And how long did you do that for? Oh, we done it for 6 months. Oh, okay, sure. What was the experience like then? Oh, it wasn't so great. It was a headache. We kept running out of time. I don't know what I'm doing. Right. Another little trick here, guys, as well. Something that I would always do is I would do this with my notepad, but I would write time here, and then I would have a tally chart, right? So each time they say time, I'll be tallying it. So when it comes to the end, and by the way, I'll get into this in a sec, what makes you completely different. You pick this up a lot once you start getting the hang of it. But if they've said time like 4, 5, 6 times, right? You can say, well, the reason that makes me completely different is you've actually said you don't have time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you said you don't have time 6 times. So yeah, we can definitely help you save that time then. And they're going to be like, wow, he's actually fucking listened to what I've had to say because he's noted it down how many times I've said that word. That there is a huge game changer for anyone just starting out. But anyway, let's get back into it. So what was the experience like? Let them answer. And you're going to be like, oh, okay, so like, why did you try that in the first place? Oh, we tried it because one of our competitors, John, over the road at John Smith's Landscape Gardening, he was actually doing the same thing that I noticed him doing it, so I thought we could do it as well. And you're writing down John Smith over the road Landscape Garden. All right, cool. Okay, sure. And yeah, and then you want to say, okay, sure. So where did you learn this from? This right here is a huge fucking question, guys. No one thinks to ask this question, right? Where did you learn this from? If we can find out where they learn it from, are they watching a certain YouTuber? Did they learn it from another agency? Did they buy a course to do with marketing? Are they going to like a marketing network club? We want to find where all their information is coming from. Why? Because we don't want to remind them of a bad experience they've already had, right? So we need to find out where their source of information is, right? Very important, guys. Once you said, so where did you learn this from then? Oh, we learned it from Martin Smith at marketinglandscaping.com. We actually paid £1,000 for his course and he comes in and teaches us once a week, blah, 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 right? And you'd be like, oh, okay, so why did you stop doing it then? Big question as well, guys. Why did you stop doing it then? They're going to be like, oh, do you know what? We stopped doing it because we don't have the time, don't have the knowledge, we couldn't get it right, we're spending too much money. Like, we really just want someone that can come in and take it off our hands, without troubling us about it. And you're right, in time, want someone that can take it off their hands without troubling them all the time, right? Great question here, guys. And then you want to say, all right, sure. So, like, realistically speaking, what did you think was going to happen when you first started this? This here is a mad question to ask. Realistically speaking, what did you think was going to happen? And they're going to be like, oh, do you know what? We thought we would sell out our landscape gardening for the next 12 months. We'd be completely full, didn't have any jobs. Because now I'm finding out why they're doing it, right? I'm finding out the goal. Like, the main thing I'm doing here, guys, is I'm really trying to ignite that fire back in their belly, right? Because every single business owner, when starting a business, they were gassed up. They had this fire in their belly. They had the urgency, right? And over the years of them trying all this marketing stuff and spending money and not getting it back and signing up agencies and just going through all that process, they start to like lose that fire and lose that hunger, and they always forget why they're actually doing it. So I really want to try bring that out of them, right? So massive question there, guys. And then you want to say, all right, sure. So yeah, is there anything else you think I should know? That I don't know why no one really asks this question, man. Because you're gonna get what you need, but what about if there's something deep down they actually wanted to tell you and they just forgot because you've asked them all the questions, right? They might have, oh yeah, let me ask them about this, and then you start firing your questions at them, and then they forgot, right? Which is, we're all human, right? So of course they're gonna forget, right? So you're gonna say, all right, cool. So is there anything else you think I should know? And let them answer. And I always like to pause, and I'm like, are you sure? You sure there's nothing else you think I should know? And then they'll be like, and you want them to think, is there anything I should tell this marketer in terms of marketing that he needs to know that's going to help us get a better experience? Oh yeah, do you know what, you mentioned it, we had to chase them up. This is one I hear all the time. Oh, we had to chase them up all the time. You know, if there was something wrong or we didn't want some more information, we would have to chase them up to see how it's going, and we really just want someone that communicate with us. These are the type of answers I'm trying to draw out of them, guys, right? And then once you've got the information here, don't just move on to the second question. You're going to be like, all right, cool. So just to double check everything's correct then. So you haven't done anything offline. You've done, obviously, online, sorry. You've done paid ads. So you've done a little bit. You've done it for this long. This is your experience. Oh, by the way, how much did you spend on paid ads? Oh, okay, cool. Right, write that down. And by the way, this is if they spent anything on paid ads, right? My agency doesn't do anything to do with paid ads. And then you're gonna go over this. So like, you got these results, right? You done it for this long, sure. And then you got this. This was your experience, and this is why you tried it in the first place. And you're getting most of your information through this person and this person. And then just to be like bluntly and honest, the reason you stopped doing it was because you were sick and tired of this. All right, cool. And then realistically speaking, you said that this is what you really wanted to happen from the outcome, right? Yeah, that's what we said. All right, cool. And then I said, obviously, you said there's nothing else you think I should know, and I'm sorry to sound like a broken record, but you 100% million percent sure that there's nothing I should know from a marketing perspective that's going to help me bring you better results. And what you're doing here, guys, one, you're making sure that you are getting the correct information, but two, you're showing them that you actually fucking listened, right? Because most agencies, when first starting out, they're so excited and also so nervous on the flip side. They'll rush through the questions and rush through everything, and when they get off the call, they're like, yeah, I booked a sales call. I'm like, all right, cool, show me your notes. What was it about? They're like, I can't really remember. It's not good enough. You need to get all the information down, but most importantly, you need to show this business owner that they actually give a fuck. That's what we're doing here. And then you go, all right, cool, so thank you for that. So yeah, question 2 then, what's a perfect client for you, or what's a perfect customer for you, right? And they're going to be like, oh yeah, you know anyone. And I get this a lot. They was like, yeah, anyone. And I always like to reply with, I'm like, oh, okay, sure. So my 12-year-old sister can ring you up and get her garden done? They're like, no, we say it, yes. It's mainly people in the age of 40, husband and wife kind of thing. I'm like, all right, interesting. And is it always like the age of 40? Is it like 40 to 70 or? And then you get an age now and you're like, in terms of like gender, I know you said couples, but like who reaches out to actually get the decision or make the decision to get their garden sorted, or who actually buys your products, right? Like who is it specifically? Oh, do you know what? A lot of the time it's always the husband, or a lot of the time, it's the boyfriend, or it's a lot of the time it's men branching out to get our products to give to their wife or whatever, right? And you're like, all right, sure. And in terms of location then, like what's the location of these guys? Like where do they normally live? Oh, they're from anywhere. Anywhere? All right, you sure? Yeah, but we have customers all around the world. Oh, okay, cool. And you've never noticed anyone in different like areas, maybe a bit more up north or down south, more purchasing products or clients than other areas? Yeah, now you mention it, to be fair, we always get people from Liverpool or Scotland or actually offering these offerings, asking to buy our products. I'm like, all right, sure. And this last one's a bit of a tricky question, but have you ever noticed any like common interest or patterns or behaviors or anything? And they're like, nah, not really. I'm like, you sure? And I'll explain like what, and I'm like, you sure? What I mean by this, by the way, for instance, so if you work with gyms, yeah, you want to ask them, so like when they come into the gym, do they all drink the same protein shake? Are they all wearing Gymshark? Do they all have like the same shoes on? Like what brand are they wearing? Are they listening to the same music? Like, because the thing is, especially with like Facebook ads, right? You can be so hyper targeted, and I really want to get as much information out as possible. For instance, most people come into the gym are between the ages of 42 and 64, right? They all live in Chelsea. They're mainly men that come into the gym, and they all wear Gymshark. They all drink the same whatever fucking protein shake you get nowadays, right? Protein shake don't sit well in my stomach, but they all have the same pre-workout, or they all might be wearing a Fitbit, or whatever it is, right? Or their common interest as well. Oh, do you know what? Actually, yeah, a lot of people talk to us about they all have an aura ring or whatever it may be, right? Because I can literally put that all into Facebook, right? And even if we don't use that as a targeting on Facebook, for instance, when I'm selling the service on the second sales call, I'll put all of their answers as much detail as possible into the targeting. And I'll say, look, you told me that your ideal client is this, and this, and this. Well, I can literally find this, and this, and this. Oh, and even this for the sake of £5 a day, and we can help you reach over nearly 1,000 people a day for just the same price of a protein shake. That there is one of the best closes you'll hear in terms of when you're getting your first client, right? So make sure, guys, that you really get down to detail with this. When you're first starting out, this is probably the biggest selling point that you can have, right, if you do this correctly. Cool. And then before moving on to the third question, you're like, all right, cool. So then just to double check, this age, right? Yeah, that age. All right, cool. And you said about the genders, it was this, and this. Yeah, that's what we said. All right, cool. And then location, you mentioned this, but then you also said, funnily enough, they're all around Chelsea kind of area, right? It makes sense because your gym's in Chelsea. Yeah, they're all come from this road, or they all live here near the park or wherever, blah, 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 right? And then you're going to say, oh, and just so we're both on the same page, you have noticed some common interest, and they all wear Gymshark, they all have the same protein shake, they all buy the same pre-workout, and they all, for whatever reason, they all have a Fitbit on, right? Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. Thank you for double checking that, right? And again, guys, I am showing them, look, I'm really listening and I'm really taking it into what you're saying. I'm going to be the best person to help you with this situation. That's what I'm saying, right? Because trust me, as a business owner, I like people that fucking listen to me. I get so many people like, yeah, bro, I can do this for you, I can do that for you. And then they're just offering me the same shit as everyone else. I'm like, that's great, but that's not for me. Like, I need something else, you know? But anyway, guys, so you're going to be like, all right, cool. So then, yeah, question number 3 then. In terms of clients, so like how many are you seeing this month and what's the goal? Like, obviously be realistic with it. Again, if it's gyms, you're going to say customers. If it's landscape gardening, you're going to say clients. If it's an e-com store, you're going to say customers, right? So whatever it is niche specific to you, find out before you get on a fucking call with them, for God's sake. But just say, so like how many clients are you seeing this month, and like what's the vision? Like what's the goal? Where would you like to be? And obviously keep it realistic. And when I say realistic, I'm always smiling and have like a little giggle, right? Because I want them to be realistic, right? And I want them to smile, and I want them to be like, yeah, do you know what? We're only seeing 10 at the moment, but oh yeah, well realistically, we could probably do about 30. Because when I was first starting out, I was like, yes, how many clients are you seeing at the moment, and where would you like to be? They were like, yeah, I want 100. And I'm like, writing down 100, yeah. And then later down I find out they can't even take 100, and they're just kind of messing about, you know, because of whatever, right? So you always want to say, so how many clients do you see now? And like, what's the goal realistically? And they're going to say, yeah, we're seeing this client. Realistically speaking, yeah, do you know what? I think realistically we can do this, but I'd really love to push it up to that. All right, cool. And then, yeah, last but not least then, final question. So in terms of revenue, what we're on today, we're on the 10th of April. So let's just go last month. Last month, what was the revenue? Oh, okay, yeah, last month we were doing about 40,000. All right, cool. And realistically speaking then, like, what's the goal? Realistically, yeah, do you know what? Realistically, we'd probably like to do about 80, but I'd really like to see it up to 100 when we get a bit more staff in. That there is probably the biggest mess up every single newbie makes, no offense to anyone. Because when I first started out, and I see every single person go through the exact same thing, yeah, is when you're asking someone about their money, and when you come from somewhere like I do, and we haven't grew up around money, and someone says, yeah, I make 100 grand a month. I'm like, 100 grand, fucking hell, like 100 grand, fuck me. I could pay this like half of my mum's mortgage there, 100 grand. I'm thinking, fucking hell, you know? And I'm like panicking. I'm looking at them like, fuck me, this person's a G, and realistically, like, they're nothing, right? You know? So when you're asking about revenue, say it so fucking bluntly, and like, don't show any emotion, no smile, no nothing. So you literally want to say bluntly, as honest. So yeah, we're on the 10th of April this month, so just go back to last month. What was the revenue? All right, sure. And when they say the number, don't be like, all right, yeah, okay, cool, good. You want to be like, all right, sure. So what's the goal then? Oh, the goal is this, and you'll be like, all right, sure. Cool. You want to say it like that bluntly, that silently, like you've done this a million times before, even though you haven't. You don't want to start getting like a little fanboy about money because they can sniff that one a mile away, right? And then after that, you want to go over this question. So just to double check then, this is who you see in a month and this is where realistically you like to be to, but you did also say when you get a bit more staff and you like to push up to here. Okay, sure. And then revenue, you're doing this and you realistically want to get to here, yeah? Sure. You sure? You always want to say, you sure? And they're always like, yeah, you know what, yeah, kind of thing. You want to, because again, guys, I'm reigniting that fire back in their belly, right? And I want to be like, you sure? And I'm not saying it as in like, oh, you sure? I'm saying it like, listen to my tone of voice. You sure? Like, you sure? You know, like your mate, for instance, like I don't know, I can't give you a good example. Your friend don't want to drink the other shot or whatever, and you're like, huh? You sure? And you're kind of pushing him like, you sure? And he's like, yeah, go on and give it here. That's what I'm kind of making out with the tone of voice. But if you haven't done sales and haven't learned people skills for as long as I have, then it won't come naturally, I guess. But anyway, guys, so now you've got your 3-4 questions answered. And you want to, with here, I always like to take like a little bit of a breath. So I'm always like, and obviously you can't see me at the moment, but I kind of lean back on my chair and I pause for probably about 5-10 seconds, right? And by the way, I'm not talking about some like, stay silent for this amount of seconds and you'll make loads of money. I'm just doing it because that's what I've been taught. So you want to say, all right, so cool. Yeah, so Tony, thank you so much for answering the questions. I know we've been a little bit longer than 15 minutes, so apologies. But yeah, Tony, I think you're going to be a really good fit for what we do because, and then what I've put here, guys, is you think they're a really good fit because, right? And the answers they've said here, right? So Tony, I think the reason you're going to be a really good fit is because you've only done offline. You've tried a little bit online, but you haven't actually done any paid ads. So yeah, one of the main reasons why we can definitely help you find this, and this customer from like a really low ad spend over the day, but I can show you a bit more in detail about that in a sec. And on the flip side, if they're doing paid ads and it hasn't worked so well or whatever, you can say, yeah, Tony, so I think you're going to be a really good fit because you've only tried paid ads for about a month and you mentioned that you only spent about 200 and you didn't really know what you're doing at targeting. You kind of just put it on and you just followed that YouTube video that you said you saw and you just kind of cross your fingers and hope for the best. So Tony, this is something we can really help you with. And Tony, I'm not sure if you know, but we can actually put your gym, your rehab, your landscape garden in front of this person, that person who have this comment, this interest, this behavior, right? Does that make sense, Tony? Yeah, that makes sense. And also another reason, Tony, that I think you're going to be a really good fit is because you said this, right? So if there's only like one thing to say why they're a good fit, you want to say because, and then you want to go into detail, right? Why they're a good fit. But if there's more than one reason why they're a good fit, then tell them that's the reason why I think you'll be a good fit because of this reason, and also this reason as well. And that's what you want to do, right? And by the way, guys, because I've written this here, go to question 1. And if you think they'll be a good fit as well, go to question 2. Like when you have more experience, guys, you can say, look, Tony, I think you're a really good fit because you said you've only done something offline where we can definitely help you take you more online because the same amount of time and energy, for even half the amount of time and energy, Tony, it takes to create the leaflets, print the leaflets, go to them, get them, like pick them up, go deliver them around the door. You know, you could literally put one post on social media and you could reach hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people in the space of 24 hours, you know, by doing less work and spending less money, right? And then also, Tony, I think another reason why you're going to be a good fit, because as you said, you tried some paid ads, but all you done was just watch a video on YouTube and you spent like £50 on one ad. You said it didn't work because you didn't know what was going to happen, and then you just stopped doing it. When in reality, we know that we can literally put you in front of this person, this, and this, which is another reason why we think we're going to be a good fit, right? And really go into detail, right? Right. Hopefully that's making sense as well, guys, right? And then you want to say, now, Tony, I'm not sure if you know this, but the reason that makes me completely different is, now, guys, when you get to this stage, right, you should fucking roughly know what your offer is going to be. And when you're first starting out and you don't really know what to have as an offer, instead of doing like free trials or paid trials or any of that jazz, what I like to do is work on performance, right? I still work on performance to this day because I make way more money working on performance, because realistically speaking, the harder I work, the better results I get, the more I get paid. Like, to me, that's common sense. Some niches is different, of course, but I really don't see the point in still charging retainers. Like, it's a bit pointless nowadays. unless you're just doing social media management. But even then, when I'm doing social media management, like I still charge like a performance fee, you know. So, but anyway, guys, I'll get into that on another lesson. If you want me to make like an actual offer lesson about like what makes you different and blah blah blah, just let me know in the comments, of course. But yeah, you want to say Tony. So I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but the reason it makes me completely different is most agencies will actually charge you a monthly retainer, whereas I don't believe in doing that. What I believe in is actually only charging you when you've got the result you need. Silence. There, right? And by the way, guys, if anyone's I doubt you're watching this if you're in my program, because you can see the whole length video, but in the program we have like a whole video about how to make an offer, right? And we show you like what makes you different and blah blah blah, right? So you're gonna say the reason that makes, I'm not sure if you know this, but the reason that makes me completely different is because of this reason. Pause, shut the fuck up, let it sink in, let them answer. And then you'll say, but Tony, what I'd really love to do is book in a second call for this time tomorrow, so I can show you exactly what it looks like from your point of view. But more to the point, Tony, another huge reason that makes me completely different is because I'm actually going to show you what it looks like from your customer's point of view, as I know all the other agencies fail to do so. Silence. And guys, I've fucking seen so many shit agency. No disrespect to anyone just starting out, like you don't know any better, right? But I've seen so many fucking goofy agencies. I don't want to shit talk anyone, but yeah, my point is, when people are closing or trying to get them on a call, they're like, yeah, we can show you what it's going to look like. In reality, they don't really care too much what it looks like for them. They're more worried about their customers and their clients. So if you can actually show them on that call what it looks like from the first moment of that e-commerce product, seeing them on an ad, all the way to then going through the funnel to them like writing that review on Google. Or on the flip side, if you can show that gym what it's like for them to see that person seeing the live recording of them watching how to build bigger arms, for them walking in the gym the first day to the final moment of them taking that 6-month transition, tagging you and saying how like amazing you are as a personal trainer. That's what they care about, right? So that's what we're selling, right? And guys, feel free to steal this and run with this, right? And by the way, if you don't know what makes you completely different, this is not going to work, right? And by the way, if you're brand new and you're going to say something like, as most other agencies fail to do so, make sure you know what you're saying that, because if it gets into that sales call and you don't actually show them what it is, you're going to look like a complete liar, right? So with me, I can back my talk, right? Whereas if you're brand new, be careful what you say, right? That's the advice I'll give you guys. And then think about, yeah, sure, absolutely fine, cool, perfect. So you're going to say, yeah, Tony, so this time tomorrow works for you, yeah? This time tomorrow works for you, yeah, yes, works for you, right? This is what I learned from doing door-to-door sales. I'm not saying, so does this time work for you? I'm saying, so does this time work for you, yeah? I'm saying it like it's a no-brainer, yeah? I'm nodding my head a little bit, yeah? Right? And I'm going to be like, all right, perfect. So, yeah, Tony, last but not least then, I just need 2 things from you, if that's cool. Yeah, Andre, that's cool. What is it you need? I'm like, okay, so number 1, Tony, I need you at a PC or laptop with good internet access and your camera on. Yeah, I can join this time through the computer with the camera on. Yeah, sure, we can do that. All right, cool. And then, yeah, number 2, Tony, I need all decision makers on the call, okay? This last and final question, guys, is one of the biggest reasons why you can't close on your first sales call, right? Because when you're nervous or when you're new and you don't really know what you're doing, an easy way for a business owner or just someone to get out of the call is say, oh yeah, I need to speak to someone, right? I need to speak to my wife. I need to speak to my business partner. Because if someone says, I need to speak to my wife, I mean, I will challenge it nowadays, but when you're brand new, you're not going to be like, why do you need to speak to your wife? Now I'm at the stage where I can generally say something along them lines, not that directly. But when you're asking this question, yeah, you're saying, I need all decision makers on the call. Is that okay? And they're going to be like, yeah, sure, all decision makers on the call. And they're going to be like, oh yeah, okay, whatever, right? So when it comes to the close, they cannot say, I need to speak to someone, right? They can't say anything like that. And if they do, you will challenge them and say, well, Tony, you told me that you're the only decision maker. What was that about? Right? And then also another reason as well, if there generally is like his wife does the admin, which is a lot of cases when you're working with anything like building wise, right? That's a lot of the case all the time, right? Especially with construction and stuff like that. And even loads of different niches, the wife always helps out with the admin and sorts through the finances and blah, 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 right? So by you saying this now, he's going to be like, oh yeah, actually, yeah, so I wouldn't need to get my wife or my business partner or my friend or this person or the investor or whatever, right? And then you can sort a time out with all of them. Rather than getting on the call, going through the best pitch ever, and then being like, oh my god, mate, this sounds great, but yeah, I need to speak to my wife. What the fuck, you fucked it, you know? That's your fault as well, right? And then there's another reason as well, right? For instance, what was I going to say? Yeah, you get to the close, and they're like, oh, I need to think about it, right? And then you're going to say, think about what? Like, I thought you was the only decision maker, why don't you just think about it now? Kind of thing, right? Obviously, you're not going to say it word from word like that. I've got a whole video on objection handling. If you want me to post a video on objection handling, just let me know, I will. But guys, you need to make sure all decision makers on the call, because if they're not and they give you any objections that to do with this, you have messed up the whole entire call. And second-hand selling doesn't work. If he goes back to his wife or his business partner, he's not going to sit there for 45 minutes going through everything you spoke to, because he's human, he's not going to remember. He's going to say, hey mate, hey missus, hey wifey, whatever, hey baby, like some boy phoned me and he's cold calling, then we got on a call, then a second call and he's doing Facebook ads. Should we do it? Nah, Facebook ads, we had a bad experience with that. Alright, yeah, cool, I'll tell him, let me know. Alright, cool. That's the conversation, right? So you need all decision makers on the call at all times, and you're basically eliminating all the objections, right? And if you're wondering as well, guys, why I need a camera on. Like, I will never, ever, ever take a sales call without the camera on, and I get super pissed off. Like, they can see and hear that I am pissed off. They don't have a camera. No matter whatever they say, why they can't have a camera on, I will always say, all right, cool, well, let's just reschedule them. Tony, I'll be honest, let's just reschedule them, because I really don't like talking to a blank screen. I can't see what you're thinking or how you're reacting. I don't know if you're playing with yourself either. So, yeah, Tony, do you want to turn your camera on, or should we reschedule the call? And I'm saying it as a fun, jokey way, right? If you're working with law firms, probably don't say you're playing with yourself. But if you're working with construction, a builder, a painter, a roofer, say, Derek, like, I need your camera on, bro. Like, I don't know if you're playing with yourself while I'm talking, man. You called to switch your camera on, you know? Well, if you're working with a law firm, just be like, who is his name? Stephen. Stephen, are you called to turn your camera on? I just need to make sure you're paying attention at all times. And the main reason I want that camera on is because I want to see how they're reacting to what I'm saying, right? I need to see if they look bored, so I can shut the fuck up. I can need to see if they look like they were going to talk, so I can shut the fuck up. I can need to see if they look confused, so I can go over and repeat something, right? I need to see their body language and their feedback, right? So guys, I'm going to wrap this up call here. If you found this call sick, make sure you drop me a subscribe. Make sure you comment down below what next you want to see in terms of this call. If you got any questions, hit me in the comments section, please.